My brother-in-law had a whirlwind marriage after a blind date, and the other party demanded a bride price of 660,000 yuan. My mother-in-law asked me to contribute 600,000 yuan. I suggested having a premarital health checkup before finalizing the bride price. My mother-in-law thought it made sense and brought it up with the other party. As a result, the woman got angry and called off the wedding. The family blamed me for this. While drunk, my brother-in-law beat me in front of the whole family. Even though I was 7 months pregnant, my mother-in-law cursed me, saying, "You jinx, if my son ends up single, I will make your life miserable forever." In the end, my husband forcibly poured boiling hot noodle soup down my throat, killing both me and the unborn child on the spot. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment my mother-in-law asked me to pay the bride price. I readily agreed. All my money is tied up in financial products and won't be available for another 2 months. "Honey, why don't you take out a loan for now? I'll give you the money as soon as I can access it." Then I turned around and found the woman from the blind date. "Do you have any good sisters? Introduce one to my husband too. 1. For your brother's wedding. You must contribute 600,000 out of the 660,000 dowry." I instinctively responded, "Is 660,000 too much? How about the next moment?" I suddenly realized that this scene seemed to have happened before. My husband, Lin Feng, seemed very afraid that I would continue speaking and hurriedly interrupted. Not much, Mom, we'll find a way to come up with the money." No, Lin Feng was supposed to say, "Mom, I think Ching Ching makes a good point. Let's discuss the bride price after the premarital checkup." At this moment, Lin Feng's unusual behavior meant that he had also been reborn in the previous life. My younger brother-in-law had a successful blind date, and the two decided to marry after only knowing each other for half a month. Out of caution, I suggested a premarital checkup, as 660,000 is not a small amount. After discussing as a family, everyone agreed that what I said made sense. In the end, my mother-in-law stepped forward and brought it up with the woman. As a result, the woman became furious, saying that a premarital checkup was a huge insult to them, and called off the wedding. Lin Yu is 30 this year and has failed in several blind dates before. Now, just when it seemed like he was about to get married, it all fell through. The whole family resented me, and their words became increasingly harsh. "I think you're just afraid that Yua will marry a wife, have a son, and compete with you for the family property. So you deliberately sabotaged his marriage. You're useless yourself, gave birth to a girl, and can't stand to see others do well. You jinx. Sooner or later you'll cause our old Lin family to have no heir, such a beautiful daughter-in-law, and you had to drive her away. If my son ends up single, I'll never let you have a good life." At first, Lin Feng still defended me, but later, as the family kept complaining and Lin Yu's matchmaking encounters continued to go poorly, he also started to blame me. "I think what my mom said makes some sense. You're just jealous that your sister-in-law is prettier than you. And you're afraid that if she comes to our family and gives birth to a son, you'll lose your status." Poor me, with my months-pregnant belly, blaming myself and crying all day long. I thought that as time passed, once they had vented their anger, this matter would be over, but unexpectedly, when I was 7 months pregnant, Lin Feng and Lin Yu got drunk together. Lin Yu pinned me down and beat me mercilessly, while Lin Feng stood by not only failing to intervene but also saying, "This is all you owe him." My mother-in-law watched from the sidelines and cursed at me. I covered my stomach and begged for mercy, only to end up with Lin Feng bringing a bowl of scalding noodle soup, and the three of them holding me down, forcing me to drink it. I can feel the child in my belly struggling and crying along with me. That kind of heart-wrenching, bone-deep pain is something I will never forget for the rest of my life. In this lifetime, I will make their entire family pay for their blood debt, too. After my mother-in-law left, to further confirm whether Lin Feng had been reborn, I asked him in confusion, "Husband, why didn't you let me speak earlier?" Lin Feng suddenly caressed my pregnant belly, tears welling in his eyes. "It's wonderful. Both my wife and child are here." I understood in my heart. I pretended not to understand. Lin Feng finally snapped out of it, hugged me, and explained that he had a dream where something happened to me and the child. Then he said, "Lin Yu finally found a wife, as his older brother and sister-in-law. We should help where we can and avoid saying too much. If something goes wrong with the wedding later, we don't want to be blamed for it." I nodded, then frowned and said, "But how can we come up with that much money for them all at once?" Lin Feng replied without hesitation, "You've saved up 600,000 from your previous manuscript fees. Right, let's use that for now, and I'll figure out the remaining 60,000. Don't worry, I'll treat the 600,000 as a loan from you. I'll pay you back once I have the money." I sneered inwardly. So, his brother is getting married, and they're not contributing a single penny, just relying on bleeding me dry. As the saying goes, wealth should not be flaunted. There's truth to that. Even between husband and wife, there should be some things kept from each other. I didn't understand this principle in my previous life. Lin Feng works at a state-owned enterprise and holds a minor leadership position. On the surface, it seems glamorous, but in reality, his monthly salary is only 6,000 yuan. I, on the other hand, have been writing web novels full-time for many years and have achieved some success, earning around 700,000 to 800,000 yuan a year. The house I currently live in was purchased before marriage, and the monthly mortgage payment alone is 6,000 yuan. Lin Feng claims to share the mortgage burden with me, but in reality, he only contributes 1,000 yuan per month. Most of the household expenses are covered by me, while Lin Feng earns just enough for his own pocket money. Considering that he takes care of all the household chores and never lets me worry about anything, I never made an issue about the money. I never expected that in the end, I would pay with my life, after my death. They live in my house, spend the money I earned, and probably even curse me for deserving it. In this life, I won't let them take advantage of me for even a single penny. I kept a straight face and waved my hand dismissively. "We're all family here, no need to talk about paying back. It's just that all my money is tied up in fixed-term investments and won't be available for 2 months. Why don't you take out a loan to cover it for now? Once my funds are available, I'll give you 660,000 directly." 3. Unlike my high school diploma, Lin Feng has a bachelor's degree, a stable job, and no credit issues, so getting a loan would be easy for him. My mother-in-law had saved up enough money, and the whole family was happily busy with the wedding preparations. As for me, I avoided the busy work because I was pregnant. It was the perfect opportunity to quietly find someone to investigate my brother-in-law's fiancée, Wang Xiaoyu. Wang Xiaoyu was tall and slender. Her looks were actually quite average, but she excelled at dressing well and had a sweet way with words. For Lin Yu, who had worked on construction sites for years, the women he usually encountered were either tanned aunties or strong, tough women. The appearance of Wang Xiaoyu made his eyes light up. She was like a fairy from heaven. During the matchmaking, Wang Xiaoyu claimed to have a university degree and said she worked in the health and wellness industry. However, after my investigation, I found out she only graduated from elementary school and actually works as a technician at a foot massage parlor, often flirting with male customers in her daily life. No wonder she ran away whenever premarital checkups were mentioned in my previous life. She couldn't withstand close scrutiny, could she? Who knows? Maybe she really does have some unspeakable illness. If she really is sick, my revenge plan will be even easier to carry out. Sure enough, 3 days later, my informant called. Wang Xiaoyu had gone to the hospital's infectious disease department and was diagnosed with AIDS. AIDS. This is even more perfect than I imagined. Heaven is truly helping me. In the evening, when my mother-in-law and the others came back and saw me writing in my room with takeout on the table, they started throwing blame and pulling long faces. "Look at the kind of wife you married, always being waited on, doing nothing at home. The whole family is so busy, she didn't even offer to help, not even cooking a meal, ordering takeout every day, just wasting money. What's the use of earning more money? She'll squander it all sooner or later." Lin Yu chimed in. "Exactly, can't you save some for me, especially when I'm about to get married and need the money? I have so many expenses coming up, sis. When are you going to pay back the 660,000 you owe me? Don't go spending it all recklessly." In the past, my mother-in-law also complained that I didn't do housework or cook, but since I earned a lot and was generous with money, she only grumbled about it in private. Now that you think a better daughter-in-law is coming, you start looking down on me and openly picking on me. I wasn't angry either, and responded with a cold laugh, "I don't know how to cook." The new daughter-in-law you spent a fortune to marry must be all-round capable, right? Hurry up and bring her in to serve you well. Lin Yu was the first to get upset. I spent so much money to marry my wife so I could cherish her, not to have her serve as a maid. Why should she cook for you all? Look at this double standard. He knows how to cherish his wife, but I'm just supposed to be their family's nanny. The mother-in-law quickly comforted her. That can't be. A college student like you didn't come to our house to cook. Someone with no education who can't even cook will eventually be left behind. Lin Feng didn't help me either, just kept glossing over the issue. All right, I'll cook. Is that okay? Ching ching. Stop talking and go back to your room to do your own things. Looking at Lin Feng's spineless appearance, I was utterly disgusted. Since he's so determined to protect his own mother and brother, he can just stay tied to them forever. 4. After finishing the meal, my mother-in-law once again flaunted the foot massage kit that Wang Xiaoyu had given her. Everyone looks down on my Yua, but he ended up finding such a beautiful and sensible wife, and she's even a college graduate. They say the son takes after the mother, and when she gives our Lin family a smart, clever grandson in the future, I'll finally be able to hold my head high in the village. If you ask me, those 660,000 yuan were well spent. Then she turned and didn't forget to shoot me a disdainful look. As the saying goes, you get what you pay for. How can something free compare? Ching ching. Don't blame me for being biased. With just a high school diploma, being able to marry into our family is a blessing for you. From now on, you should treat your sister-in-law well. If nothing else, you'll still need her to help tutor your children with their homework. Being sarcastic and speaking harshly, Lin Feng and I fell in love freely. And when we got married, I had plenty of money. I thought it wasn't easy for my mother-in-law to raise 2 sons all by herself, so I didn't ask for anything when we got married. I never expected that my thoughtfulness back then would become a subject of their ridicule now, but when I thought about the misfortune they were about to face, I couldn't bring myself to be angry. Instead, I smiled and flattered her. Mom is right. This wedding should be a grand affair, so that others will be envious of our family. The next day, I went to see Wang Xiaoyu alone. We chatted for a while, and it was quite pleasant. Before leaving, I asked her, "Do you have any good sisters? Introduce one to my husband too." 5. A week later, the two families gathered at a restaurant to discuss the final wedding arrangements and also to present the bride price. At such a moment, my mother-in-law still couldn't resist taking a jab at me. "Dear in-laws, this is the first time we're holding such a grand wedding ceremony, giving your Xiaoyu all the pomp and circumstance. My elder daughter-in-law wasn't so lucky back then. When she entered our family, she didn't get anything at all. Lin Feng was afraid I would cause trouble if I heard it, so he held my hand tightly and wouldn't let go. Honey, don't take it to heart. Mom is just worried they might change their minds, so she's deliberately flattering them. It's all to make sure our brother's wedding goes smoothly. Just bear with it a little." Later, my mother-in-law suggested that the two of them get their marriage certificate before the wedding. However, Wang Xiaoyu's family wanted to wait until after the wedding to register their marriage, due to differing opinions. Both sides felt a bit unhappy. A bald man passing by suddenly turned around with an exaggerated expression. "Oh my, these two are a match made in heaven." After saying this, he made a gesture as if counting on his fingers. "July 29th is an excellent day for you to get your marriage certificate. If you can register on this day, you will surely conceive a boy 3 months later. This child will have a bright future, and your family will rely on him to prosper." July 29th happens to be exactly 1 month after the wedding. The restaurant owner overheard and came over to join in the conversation. Mr. Li is practically a fortune teller. His predictions are always accurate. Meeting him is your fate. When I opened this restaurant, I consulted him too. Just look at how well my business is doing. My mother-in-law has always been superstitious. Hearing the fortune teller say this, she was so delighted she couldn't stop smiling and immediately changed her tune. All right, let's set the date for July 29th to register our marriage." After saying that, she quickly pulled a red envelope from her pocket and stuffed it into the hands of that so-called half-immortal Li. The fortune teller accepted the red envelope and happily added a few more auspicious words before leaving. I looked through the crowd at Wang Xiaoyu, and she happened to be looking at me too. We exchanged a knowing smile, which served as our greeting. The wedding proceeded as scheduled and was very lively, but I did not attend. Last night, my mother-in-law told me, "Stay away from tomorrow's wedding, you're carrying a girl, and it's unlucky for you to go, don't let it affect my daughter-in-law Yu's chances of having a boy." I pretended to be disappointed and aggrieved, but in reality, I was overjoyed inside. I never wanted to join in the fun in the first place. And now I don't even have to come up with an excuse myself. Lin Feng, afraid I might cause trouble, hypocritically comforted me. "You're far along in your pregnancy now, so you need to be careful. It's not suitable for you to go to crowded places. If you want to eat anything, I'll bring it back for you tomorrow." As soon as I heard about packing food, I immediately refused. Once Wang Xiaoyu enters the family, I don't plan to eat with this group of people anymore. Safety first. Preserving my life is what matters most. They went to attend the wedding, while I followed my brother to the bank, opened a new card in his name, and deposited 700,000 into it. The 600,000 was saved before, and the 100,000 is the recent manuscript fee I received. From now on, I need to save money properly to raise my daughter. 6. After marriage, my brother-in-law and Wang Xiaoyu were incredibly sweet together, always sticking to each other and not even going to work. I sincerely feel happy for them. Lin Feng sighed, "Should have done this earlier. Everyone is happy. Who says it's not true? Should have done this earlier. Sending your whole family to hell, so I wouldn't have to suffer this unjust disaster." Soon, Lin Feng also got busy. He used to never work overtime and would come home early to cook for me, but lately he has been working late into the night every day. I didn't complain and even reminded him not to overwork himself. My mother-in-law moved in with my younger brother-in-law, claiming she needed to help her younger son prepare for pregnancy so they could have the long-awaited grandson as soon as possible. Using the excuse that there was no one to take care of me at home, I simply moved in with my brother for the time being. At the same time, I listed the house with an agent, waiting for the right price. With no one at home, Lin Feng completely let himself go, often bringing a woman home at night to fool around. That woman was tailor-made for him. And it seems he was quite satisfied. Watching the two of them kiss passionately and get entangled, I silently saved the recordings, feeling completely unmoved inside. Before I knew it, it was Qixi Festival. Lin Feng bought roses and gifts and made a special trip to pick me up so we could go home and spend some time together. Ironically, in my previous life, I died on this very day, and he had given me roses then too. When I died, rose petals were scattered all over the floor, mingling with the crimson blood, a shocking sight. When Lin Feng shoved the flowers into my arms, I instinctively trembled. He didn't notice my unusual reaction, lowered his head and unwrapped the gift box in his hand, then handed it to me. It was a gold bracelet. The bracelet was very thin, but it was the most valuable gift he had given me in the 3 years since we got married, unlike my brother-in-law's wedding, which had all 5 traditional gold pieces. Even the wedding rings Lin Feng and I used were just silver. I've seen the gold bracelet my mother-in-law prepared for her younger daughter-in-law, and it's 3 times as thick as mine. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but laugh. Lin Feng thought I was happy and eagerly helped me put it on my wrist. "Darling, I've been saving up for several months by cutting back on expenses just to get this for you. Don't worry, I'll make up for everything I didn't buy you before." 7. Counting the days. Lin Yu and Wang Xiaoyu have been together for a while now, and I also want to check if their family is showing any symptoms. When I got home, I didn't see Lin Yu, but I did see the woman who was fooling around with Lin Feng. Wang Xiaoyu quickly explained, "This is my good friend Jia. Since it's the holidays and I felt sorry seeing her all alone, I invited her over. I hope you don't mind, sis-in-law." Jia quickly stood up to offer me her seat, as she reached out to pull the chair for me. I noticed she was also wearing a new bracelet on her wrist. Her bracelet was exactly the same as the one Wang Xiaoyu was wearing. During the meal, I made an excuse that I had already eaten at my brother's place and had no appetite, so I didn't touch my chopsticks. My mother-in-law shot me a glare without saying a word, then turned and eagerly served Jia some food. "This girl is way too thin, she needs to eat more. Women should be a bit plumper, it makes them easier to marry off and better for childbearing. Xiaoyu, you should eat more too." Judgia gave an awkward smile and left the food her mother-in-law had served piled at the edge of her bowl untouched. I casually asked why Lin Yu wasn't there. Lin Feng, oh. He's recently developed quite a few red rashes on his neck and has diarrhea. I told him to go to the hospital and get checked. Wang Xiaoyu. I said I wanted to try the new milk tea shop in the south of the city, and he went to buy it for me. Hearing about the hospital, my heart tightened. Could it be discovered so soon? Discovering it too early wouldn't be any fun. Wang Xiaoyu clearly didn't know that Lin Yu was going to the hospital and seemed a bit flustered. She put down her chopsticks and headed out. Let me ask if he's back yet. Lin Feng brought me a bowl of noodle soup at that moment. If you have no appetite, you should at least drink a bowl of noodle soup. It's good for your stomach. Seeing the noodle soup, I reflexively stood up and stepped back abruptly. Lin Feng couldn't hold the bowl steady, and the soup spilled directly, splashing onto my hand. The burning sensation of the hot soup made me tremble uncontrollably. Lin Feng was so startled that he quickly put down the bowl. Honey, where did it burn you? Let me see quickly. My mother-in-law and Jia also stood up nervously and rushed over to check. I just realized I had overreacted. It's nothing. I just suddenly felt a bit nauseous. I'm fine now. Lin Feng gave me a meaningful look, a flicker of inquiry in his eyes. 8. Fortunately, Wang Xiaoyu and Lin Yu returned, with Lin Yu holding milk tea in both hands and Wang Xiaoyu carrying a bouquet of roses in her arms. Lin Yu hadn't expected Jia to come along, so he bought one less cup of milk tea. Without even asking me, my mother-in-law directly took my cup and gave it to Jia. Your sister-in-law has no appetite and can't drink this, so let Jia have hers. No one had any objections. Lin Feng asked Lin Yu what the doctor said when he went to the hospital, while inserting the straw into the milk teacup and handing it to Wang Xiaoyu's lips. Lin Yu responded, I didn't go to the hospital. I was in a hurry to buy her milk tea, and there was a long line with so many people. I was worried that coming back late would delay important matters. But I just went to the clinic downstairs for a check. They said it might be an allergic reaction from eating something wrong, and I've already gotten the medicine. Wang Xiaoyu took a sip of milk tea and then brought it to Lin Yu's lips. The two of them were showing affection by taking turns sipping from the same cup. As I looked at the shocking marks on Lin Yu's neck, I secretly sneered in my heart. Public displays of affection lead to a quick downfall. It's just a pity that the old lady and Lin Feng haven't shown any symptoms yet. Staying any longer was truly boring. So I made an excuse that my brother was coming to pick me up and got up to leave. Lin Feng said he wanted to see me off, but I refused. He glanced at Jia and didn't insist any further. Jia made an excuse to go out and buy something, so we left one after the other. Behind me, Jia caught up. Sis, no offense, but your husband is no good. Look at the bracelet he bought for me. And then look at what he bought for you. It's a shame you treat him so well. This man's infidelity. Once it happens, it will happen again. I suggest you make plans early. I glanced at her sideways. What? Do you have your eye on him? I wouldn't mind letting you have him. She waved her hands repeatedly. No. We agreed. I'm just helping him with his physical needs. If you ever want me to leave, just say the word. Suddenly remembering something, she hid her hands behind her back. But as we agreed beforehand, you can't take back the things he gave me. I laughed. Don't worry, I keep my word. I'll be getting divorced soon too, so you better take advantage and get as much as you can. Once my divorce goes through, you can split if you want. There's no good in staying with him. Jia is actually a colleague of Wang Xiaoyu. The first time we met, I gave her a red envelope with 2,000 yuan. I'm pregnant, so I'm not up to that kind of thing. I feel sorry for my husband having to suffer along with me. Seeing him so frustrated breaks my heart. If you're willing to help us out, there will be benefits for you. Don't worry, my husband is quite generous. If you two get together, I won't ask for any gifts or cash he gives you back. Just one thing. You must never let him know that I was the one who approached you. The work they usually do often involves ambiguous relationships with clients, with Lin Feng also having a handsome appearance. He was much better than their other clients. As soon as I mentioned my request, she happily agreed without hesitation. Lin Feng considered himself above such things and would certainly look down on women of the night. To ensure Jia's seduction would proceed smoothly, I specially prepared a resume for her and had her memorize it in advance. With a bachelor's degree, She is a rebellious young lady from a wealthy family who owns several properties and ran away from home after a quarrel with her family. Sure enough, the day after they met, Lin Feng started actively asking her out. Now it seems not only does Lin Feng like her, but my mother-in-law does too. She probably can't wait for me to divorce her son so their family can have double the happiness. Well, I'll make sure their whole family gets what they wish for. 9. Seeing that my brother-in-law's 1-month wedding anniversary was approaching, it was time to get the marriage certificate. Wang Xiaoyu came to me specifically. Sister-in-law, I heard you're also getting a divorce. Are you going first, or am I? I caressed my pregnant belly and sighed at how quickly time had passed. The tragic death in my previous life seemed like it had only happened yesterday. Fortunately, in this life, both my daughter and I will live well. Have you prepared everything as I said? Have you also explained it to Judge? Wang Xiaoyu nodded. Then you should leave first. It will be troublesome if you actually get the marriage certificate. Once you leave, don't come back again. When Wang Xiaoyu left, she thanked me profusely and even offered to share some money with me. I politely declined. Soon, my mother-in-law and the others realized they couldn't get in touch with Wang Xiaoyu, as her phone was always turned off. They made calls everywhere asking about her, but no one knew where Wang Xiaoyu had gone. The mother-in-law said with concern, "Could it be that he took the money and ran off? Could it be that we've been scammed into a marriage?" Lin Yu was the most unwilling to believe it. Xiaoyu isn't that kind of person. Our relationship has always been very good. Just yesterday, she said she felt sorry for me working so hard and that once she finds a job at a big company, she would let me come back and do something easier. I also comforted my mother-in-law. I don't think Xiaoyu is that kind of person either. Everyone who meets her says she's a good girl. How could she possibly do something like that? Let's just focus on finding her properly. The most important thing is that she's safe. I also reminded them that Wang Xiaoyu is close to Judge, so they could ask her if she had any information. Judge arrived very soon. Xiaoyu recently told me that a classmate introduced her to a job overseas with a very good salary, and she's considering whether to take it. I even advised her that it's not suitable to work so far away right after getting married. She said she would come back and discuss it with Lin Yu. Could it be that she went with that classmate to learn more about the job? Upon hearing this, Lin Yu suddenly became tense. Have you met her classmate? Did she mention which country the job is in? I haven't. I think she said it's in Myanmar. As soon as my mother-in-law heard the word Myanmar, she collapsed onto the chair in fright, and I also slumped into the chair. Lin Yu frantically grabbed Jiao, his eyes almost devouring her. Why didn't you stop her? Why didn't you say something earlier? Jiao was so frightened that she burst into tears, finally realizing what it would mean if she had actually gone to Myanmar. I don't know either, I thought. I thought she would come back to discuss it with you. Lin Feng, afraid that Lin Yu might hurt Judge, tried to calm him down while pulling Judge behind him. Judge crouched on the ground and began to wail loudly. 10. Lin Yu and the others reported it to the police, and after an investigation, the police found that Wang Xiaoyu had indeed boarded a flight to Myanmar. Lin Yu went crazy, insisting on selling the house to go to Myanmar to find Wang Xiaoyu. His mother slapped him awake. Have you lost your mind? What kind of place do you think Myanmar is, that you can just come and go as you please? Even an old woman like me knows it's a place where money can't buy back your life. Going there means certain death. Are you really going to abandon your own mother for a woman? The two collapsed to the ground, holding each other and weeping bitterly. What a tragedy, spending so much money to marry a daughter-in-law, only to have her vanish just like that. Seeing the faint red rash on my mother-in-law's neck, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of satisfaction. When Wang Xiaoyu's parents found out their daughter had been tricked into going to Myanmar, they came to our house and had a huge confrontation with my mother-in-law and the others. My perfectly fine daughter, married into your family for just 1 month, and you've managed to lose her. You give me back my daughter. If anything happens to her, I'll fight you to the death. At this moment, my mother-in-law and Lin Yu were disheveled and haggard, yet they still had to patiently comfort the in-laws. Wang Xiaoyu's parents were rolling on the ground, throwing a tantrum, and no amount of persuasion could get them to get up. In the end, my mother-in-law agreed to give them 100,000 yuan as compensation, and only then did they relent. That evening, my mother-in-law called me back. As soon as I entered, Lin Yu locked the door from the inside. My mother-in-law immediately asked me for money. Now all the family's money has been taken by Xiao Yu, and we really have no choice but to ask you for it. Besides, you still haven't paid the 660,000 you promised for the wedding, so just give us 800,000 in one go. Ha, they really know how to round things up. They're quite good at that. Lin Feng stood by my side, trying to persuade me. Honey, right now, you're the only one in the family with money. We're all family, and when something happens, we should help each other out. Just take out the money to handle this emergency, and I promise I'll pay you back as soon as I have the money. Looking at the ugly faces of this family, I couldn't hold back any longer and burst into loud laughter. Seeing me laughing uncontrollably, each of their faces darkened. I'm telling you, don't even think about trying to weasel out of this. You have to come up with the money today. If you don't hand over the money, don't even think about walking out of this house. That's when I realized just how dangerous my situation had become. They were, once again, intending to kill me. I instinctively started inching toward the door. Lin Yu quickly stepped forward to stop me, snatched my phone away, and Lin Feng held my head, immediately using facial recognition to unlock it. As long as you obediently hand over the money, we'll still be one family, and no one will do anything to you. I spit. Who wants to be part of their family? And when they found that I only had a few $100 in total on my phone, their expressions turned even more ferocious. Jiang Qingqing, where is your money? How could you possibly have no money? I took a few steps back, holding my stomach with my hand. I'm not your family's ATM. Why must I have money? Lin Feng was so angry that he raised his hand as if to hit me. I didn't dodge and took the slap squarely, blood immediately trickling from the corner of my mouth. 11. But Lin Feng panicked. Honey, I was just trying to scare you. Why didn't you dodge? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Does it hurt badly? My mother-in-law immediately pulled Lin Feng away. Alright, if she doesn't bring the money today, she won't be your wife anymore. I wiped the corner of my mouth with my hand and said coldly, fine. Then let's get a divorce. My mother-in-law snorted coldly. Divorce? Even if it's divorce today, you still have to hand over the money. She gave Lin Yu a meaningful look. And he immediately raised his fist and started walking toward me. I closed my eyes and silently counted down in my mind. 3, 2, 1. Right on cue, a knock sounded at the door. Police, open the door now. I had specifically told my brother before coming, and fortunately he arrived promptly with the police. I provided the police with the surveillance video of them threatening and hitting me, and also gave them the video of Lin Feng's affair. The court ruled to grant the divorce between me and Lin Feng. In terms of property division, Lin Feng is at fault, and since the house is my premarital property, he won't get a single cent. He also has to compensate me for emotional damages and child support after our daughter's birth, totaling 300,000. Lin Feng immediately knelt before me and begged, darling, I was wrong. Please don't divorce me. Okay, I'll treat you well from now on and will never do anything to hurt you again. I kicked him aside and said in a voice only he could hear, Lin Feng, you should know better than anyone that the bond between us was severed in our previous life. If you still have a conscience, don't haggle over that 300,000. You owe me this. Upon hearing this, Lin Feng slumped to the ground, completely panicked. No, I've long regretted what happened in our past life. I swear I came back in this life to make it up to you. Passers-by turned to look at him as if he were a madman. 12. Lin Feng and the others still wanted to linger in my house, but unfortunately, I had already sold it. The new owner, along with the property management, came to the door and directly drove them away. Originally, Lin Yu also had a small house in the suburbs, but he had sold it to repay loans and compensate Hu Xiaoyu's parents, after only 1 year of paying off the mortgage. Selling the house would only bring in a little over 100,000, and their financial hole is still huge. I heard about what happened later from Judgia. When she told me, she was absolutely thrilled. Sis, you didn't see that old hag's face. It was disgusting. I think she doesn't have long to live. It turned out the old woman had set her sights on Judgia. Unfortunately, since our divorce, Judgia had never shown up again. She didn't know where Judgia lived or worked. So she could only wait every day at the entrance of the mall Judgia often visited. I heard she waited for a whole week and actually managed to run into her. She excitedly ran up to grab Judya's hand, thinking she had found her savior. My dear daughter, I've been missing you so much. Hurry up. Judya saw her appearance, covered her nose in disgust, and dodged to the side. Who are you? You smell so bad, and the growth on your neck is terrifying. Please stay away from me. Okay. The old woman embarrassedly rubbed her hands. Judya, I am Wang Xiaoyu's mother-in-law, Lin Feng's mother. Don't you like my son very much? I think you two are a perfect match. Now that he's divorced, you should go find him quickly. You two should be together. I have high hopes for you. Judya pretended to suddenly understand and asked with a smile, Auntie, then tell me, how much bride price are you planning to give me, and which area will the house be in? The old woman was startled. What are you talking about, my dear? Aren't you two truly in love? It's different when there's genuine affection. You can't compare it to those arranged blind dates. Judya sneered and didn't hold back. What a joke. Do you think I'm as foolish as your ex-daughter-in-law? Giving everything to your family without asking for anything in return. He's just a poor, divorced old man. Does he even deserve it? The old lady was furious. Then give back the gold bracelet and money my son gave you. Why should I? That's what I earned for sleeping with him. You bitch. The old woman wanted to grab Judya, but how could she be a match for a young person? She was directly slapped to the ground by Judya. She still wanted to lie on the ground and extort someone. But Judya turned around, got in the car, and drove away. 13. The old woman fell ill as soon as she returned home, after being taken to the hospital. She was diagnosed with HIV. Due to her pre-existing cardiovascular conditions, her health rapidly deteriorated. As soon as Lin Feng and Lin Yu heard about the HIV diagnosis, they were so frightened that they immediately went to get tested. The results showed that Lin Yu was infected. While Lin Feng tested negative, he is really lucky to have survived. But it doesn't matter, there will always be an illness that will bring him down, considering everything that happened in his past and present life. Lin Feng immediately became suspicious of Wang Xiaoyu. Sure enough, when he went to look for Wang Xiaoyu's family again, he found that they had long since disappeared. The entire family was completely devastated. The old woman was on her last breath, unable to bear the blow. Lin Yu ran off and went missing. Only then did Lin Feng remember me, and he ingratiatingly said to me, Ching Ching, my mom and younger brother were both infected with AIDS by that bitch Wang Xiaoyu. You should go get tested too. Right, you and the child absolutely cannot have anything happen. I looked at him with disgust and didn't want to say more. I'm perfectly fine. No need for your concern. Hurry up and leave. Don't bring the virus to me. He still wanted to pester me. Ching Ching, I was wrong. I was wrong in my past life too. I truly regret it. Please, can you forgive me? I directly asked him for money. You still owe me 300,000 yuan. Let's talk about forgiveness after you pay up. He instantly deflated like a balloon. Our family is in such a situation. How could we possibly have any money to give you? We have no money, really no money. How dare you come asking for forgiveness when you have no money? Do they still think of me as their family's money bag, if there's no money? Then just wait to die. 14. I heard about Lin Feng again 3 months later. After I had already given birth to my daughter, he had someone call me, asking me to bring our daughter to see him one last time. I went, but I didn't bring our daughter. I was just curious about how he would ultimately meet his end. When we met again, he was lying in a shabby rented room, which had a very unpleasant smell. Lin Feng was bedridden, so thin that he was just a bag of bones. It was only then that I learned the old woman had already passed away, and after Lin Yu contracted AIDS, he began to give up on himself, fooling around everywhere and spreading the disease. In the end, he was arrested by the police for endangering public safety and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Lin Feng didn't have AIDS, but he did contract a severe sexually transmitted disease, with severe ulceration in his genital area. His illness was also within my expectations. When I first sought out Judya, I directly asked about her physical condition. After all, if she had been healthy, I wouldn't have immorally dragged her into this. She was quite frank, coming right out and telling me, I have an STD, but not HIV. Since you don't mind Xiaoyu having HIV, you probably won't mind me either, right? I was shocked by her honesty, and I honestly reminded her to make sure to pass the STD to my husband. Lin Feng was relieved that he hadn't contracted HIV. unaware that there were other things waiting for him. If the illness is discovered late, it becomes difficult to treat. Plus, he didn't have the money for medical care, so he ended up in this state. Lin Feng still wanted my forgiveness before he died, and he desperately tried to explain to me, "Ching Ching, you've always been the only one in my heart. As for Judja before, it was just for fun. Besides, the bracelet I gave her was actually gold-plated silver, nowhere near as valuable as the one I gave you." Did he really think I still cared about these things? I just came to see his downfall, to see if he's miserable enough, so I won't miss the last chance to rub salt in his wound. I said with a smile, "You know what, actually, Xiaoyu didn't want to pass the disease to you either, she just wanted to scam some money for treatment, but I gave her another 40,000 to stay for one more month, and I promised her that she'd get another 100,000 a month later. With one wedding, she could get 800,000. She needs the money and couldn't refuse. Besides, weren't you all eager to welcome her into your family? I was just helping you. Oh, and there's the affair. Do you think I care if you cheat? I don't love you. Why would I care who you sleep with? Judja was custom-made for you with my money, and your family seemed quite satisfied too. When you think about it, I've contributed quite a lot to your family. And what about the 300,000 you owe me? When are you going to pay it back? If you keep stalling, I'll have to apply to the court for enforcement." Lin Feng was dumbfounded. I knew he couldn't come up with the money. It's okay. If I were to die just like that, it would be fine. If he is lucky enough not to die, I will use these 300,000 to make sure he cannot live. He looked at me angrily, already breathing more out than in. You came to take my life." He was right. In this life, I came to claim the lives of his entire family. I am very satisfied with the current outcome. At the end, I poured Lin Feng a cup of scalding hot water and placed it on his bedside table. I didn't want to dirty my own hands. I'll kindly leave the final way of death for him to decide himself. No sooner had I stepped out the door than I heard the sound of a cup hitting the floor. I didn't look back. 15. Later, I took my daughter to live in the distant southern city. The southern city has spring-like weather all year round with beautiful scenery, making it very suitable for living. Both my daughter and I really like it here. Most importantly, there is no one here who knows me, so no one will bring up my past, and I am a very forgetful person. All the good and the bad are quickly forgotten by me. The road ahead is long, and I only want to move toward a better future with my daughter.